The sun was beginning to set over the picturesque village of Bergdorf, casting a warm golden hue across the snow-capped peaks of the Austrian Alps. Inside her cozy veterinary clinic, Elena Muller was wrapping up her day, organizing files and preparing for the next morning's appointments. The faint sound of church bells chimed in the distance, signaling the end of another peaceful day in the village. Elena had always felt a deep connection to animals, a passion that had led her to become a veterinarian. She loved her work, but lately, she had been troubled by the increasing number of abandoned pets in the area. The harsh winter months were particularly difficult for strays, and she often found herself wondering how many more animals were suffering in silence. As she finished tidying up, her phone rang, breaking the quiet atmosphere of the clinic. Glancing at the screen, she saw it was Franz, a local animal welfare activist and friend. His voice was urgent when she answered. "Elena, thank goodness I reached you," he exclaimed, his tone filled with concern. "We've received reports about a group of sick dogs abandoned near Hochfeld. They're in terrible condition, and we need your help." Elena's heart sank at the news. "How many dogs are we talking about? What do you know about their condition?" "5 or 6, maybe more," Franz replied hastily. "They've been spotted hiding in an old barn. We think they might have parvovirus or some other illness. If we don't act fast, we could lose them." The weight of his words settled heavily on Elena's shoulders. Parvovirus was a serious threat to unvaccinated dogs, and time was critical. "I'll go," she said firmly, determination rising within her. "I can't let them suffer any longer." "Are you sure? The weather is getting worse," Franz cautioned. "I'm sure," Elena replied resolutely. "I'll grab my medical kit and head out right away." After hanging up, Elena quickly gathered her supplies: syringes, medications, bandages, and food for the dogs. She donned her warmest coat and sturdy boots, feeling a mix of adrenaline and anxiety as she prepared for the journey ahead. Stepping outside into the biting cold, she took a deep breath of crisp mountain air. The path to Hochfeld was treacherous in winter. Snow piled high along narrow trails made every step a challenge. But Elena had navigated these mountains countless times before. She knew every bend and rise like the back of her hand. As she began her trek toward Hochfeld, thoughts raced through her mind. How many dogs would she find? What kind of conditions would they be in? She recalled her childhood days spent rescuing stray animals with her father. Those moments had shaped her into the compassionate veterinarian she was today. Hours passed as Elena trudged through the snow-laden forest, each step taking her closer to the unknown fate of the abandoned dogs. The wind whipped around her like an angry spirit trying to deter her from her path, but nothing could shake her determination. Finally, after what felt like an eternity battling against the elements, she spotted a flicker of light in the distance. Hochfeld. Relief washed over her as she approached the village nestled against the mountainside. The quaint houses were blanketed in snow, their chimneys puffing smoke into the gray sky. Elena made her way toward the old barn where Franz had indicated the dogs were hiding. As she neared it, anxiety bubbled within her. What if they were injured or frightened? What if it was too late? Pushing open the creaky wooden door of the barn, Elena was met with darkness and an overwhelming smell of dampness and neglect. She fumbled for her flashlight and swept its beam across the room. In one corner huddled a group of thin dogs, some shivering uncontrollably while others lay motionless on the ground. "Oh no," she whispered to herself as tears pricked at her eyes. This was worse than she had imagined. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, Elena stepped inside and knelt down slowly so as not to frighten them further. "Hey there," she said softly, trying to convey warmth through her voice despite the chill in the air. "I'm here to help you." One by one, their eyes met hers, some filled with fear and others with a flicker of hope. It was in that moment that Elena knew she would do everything in her power to save them. With determination coursing through her veins, she began assessing each dog's condition while formulating a plan for their recovery. This was just the beginning of what would be an arduous journey, not only for these dogs but also for herself as she fought against time and circumstance to bring them back from the brink of despair. In that dimly lit barn filled with uncertainty and suffering, Elena Muller made a silent promise: no dog would be left behind on her watch. The cold air clung to Elena as she carefully maneuvered the last of the rescued dogs into her clinic. The once abandoned animals were now safe within the warm walls of her veterinary practice, and she felt a surge of relief wash over her. They had made it through the first hurdle, but the real work was just beginning. Elena set up a makeshift recovery area in one of the examination rooms, laying down soft blankets and preparing food and water for her new patients. She glanced around at the 5 dogs, each one a testament to resilience and survival. There was Max, the scruffy terrier mix with bright eyes that seemed to sparkle with mischief. Luna, the timid beagle mix who was still unsure of her surroundings. Oliver, the wise golden retriever with a gentle demeanor. Pip, the exuberant puppy bursting with energy. And finally, a shy little terrier she had named Bella, who had hidden in a corner of the barn. As she began assessing their conditions, Elena felt a mix of emotions, sadness for what they had endured, but also hope for what lay ahead. She started with Max, who wagged his tail cautiously as she approached. "Let's see how you're doing, buddy," she said softly, kneeling beside him. Max was thin but surprisingly alert. Elena checked his vital signs and noted that he seemed to be in decent shape despite his malnourishment. She administered some fluids and vitamins to help him regain strength. With each gentle touch, she could feel him starting to trust her, a small victory that filled her heart with joy. Next was Luna. The beagle mix flinched at first when Elena reached out, but after a few moments of soothing words and gentle movements, Luna slowly approached. Elena could see the fear in her eyes but also a flicker of curiosity. "You're safe now, sweet girl," Elena reassured her as she examined Luna's body for any signs of injury. Luna's condition was more concerning than Max's. She was underweight and showed signs of dehydration. Elena quickly set to work, administering fluids and making sure she had plenty of food available. As Luna began to eat, Elena felt a sense of accomplishment. This small act of nourishment was a crucial step toward recovery. Oliver was next. The golden retriever lay quietly on his bed, watching Elena with wise eyes that seemed to hold stories untold. He had a deep gash on his leg that needed immediate attention. "Let's take care of you," Elena said gently as she cleaned the wound and applied a bandage. Oliver didn't flinch. He simply looked at her with an understanding that made her heart ache. Pip was the most energetic of the bunch, bouncing around excitedly as if he were unaware of his past hardships. Elena couldn't help but smile at his antics as he chased after a toy she tossed across the room. "You're going to keep me on my toes, aren't you?" She laughed. Finally, there was Bella, the shy terrier who had been so frightened in the barn. She remained curled up in her blanket, peeking out at Elena with wide eyes. "Hey there, Bella," Elena said softly as she knelt beside her. "You don't have to be scared anymore." After some coaxing and gentle encouragement, Bella slowly emerged from her hiding spot to accept a treat from Elena's hand. As evening fell over Bergdorf, Elena worked tirelessly through each dog's treatment plan, administering medications, providing food and water, and ensuring they were comfortable in their new environment. She felt exhausted but fulfilled. Each small victory brought them closer to recovery. Over the next few days, Elena established a routine for their rehabilitation. She focused on their physical health while also addressing their emotional needs. Each dog required different levels of attention. Max thrived on playtime and affection. Luna needed gentle encouragement to build trust. Oliver required patience as he adjusted to his new surroundings. Pip demanded constant stimulation, and Bella needed quiet moments filled with love. Elena also began documenting their progress in a journal, a way to track their health and development while reflecting on their journeys. She wrote about Max's playful spirit returning as he learned basic commands during training sessions, Luna gradually warming up to human interaction, Oliver's quiet strength inspiring those around him, Pip's boundless energy bringing laughter into the clinic, and Bella slowly emerging from her shell as she discovered safety in Elena's presence. One afternoon while tending to them, Franz stopped by for a visit. He entered the clinic with an enthusiastic grin on his face. "How are our brave friends doing?" he asked as he approached the examination room. "They're all making progress," Elena replied, gesturing toward each dog as she spoke. "Max is learning commands quickly. Luna is starting to trust me more. Oliver is healing nicely. Pip is full of energy, and Bella is finally coming out of her shell." Franz knelt down beside Bella, who cautiously sniffed his hand before allowing him to pet her gently. "She's beautiful," he said softly, looking up at Elena with admiration. "You've done an incredible job." Elena felt warmth spread through her at his words. "I couldn't have done it without your support," she said sincerely. As they continued chatting about their plans for finding homes for the dogs once they were fully recovered, an idea began forming in Alina's mind. What if they organized an adoption event? It could bring awareness to animal welfare while helping these dogs find loving families. Franz, she said suddenly, excitement bubbling within her. What do you think about hosting an adoption event? We could invite families from Bergdorf and surrounding areas to meet these amazing dogs. Franz's eyes lit up at the suggestion. That sounds fantastic. We can promote it through social media and local businesses. With newfound energy coursing through them both, they began brainstorming ideas for the event. How to create an inviting atmosphere where families could connect with the dogs while learning about responsible pet ownership. As plans took shape over the following days, Elena felt hope blossom within her heart, a belief that not only could these dogs find new homes but that they could inspire change within their community as well. In those quiet moments spent caring for Max, Luna, Oliver, Pip, and Bella, Elena realized that this journey was not just about rescuing animals. It was about fostering connections between humans and animals alike, a chance for healing hearts on both sides, with determination lighting her path forward into tomorrow's possibilities. She embraced this journey knowing it would lead not just toward recovery but toward bright new beginnings filled with love for every precious soul deserving care within their community and beyond. The day of the adoption event had finally arrived, and Elena Muller felt a mix of excitement and nerves as she prepared her clinic for the influx of visitors. She had spent the last week promoting the event throughout Bergdorf, hanging colorful posters in local shops, sharing posts on social media, and even enlisting the help of Franz to spread the word. Now, as she set up tables filled with pamphlets about responsible pet ownership and adoption procedures, she hoped for a good turnout. Elena had transformed her clinic into a welcoming space. Bright banners hung from the walls, and colorful balloons swayed gently in the breeze outside. She had arranged cozy seating areas where families could sit with the dogs and get to know them better. The scent of freshly baked dog treats wafted through the air courtesy of Franz's culinary skills. As families began to arrive, Elena greeted them warmly at the entrance. "Welcome. Thank you for coming today," she said, her smile genuine. "I'm excited for you all to meet these incredible dogs." The first family to arrive was a couple with 2 young children. The little ones squealed with delight as they spotted Pip bouncing around in his pen. "Look at that puppy," one of them exclaimed, eyes wide with wonder. "Pip is full of energy and loves to play," Elena said, leading them over to the pen. "He's looking for a family that can keep up with his playful spirit." As they interacted with Pip, Elena noticed how quickly he captivated their hearts. The children laughed as he chased after a squeaky toy, his tail wagging furiously. She felt a sense of hope. If this family connected with Pip, it could be a perfect match. Next came Sophie, the young girl who had bonded with Max during their previous gathering. Her parents were there too, clearly smitten by Max's charm. "We've talked about it," Sophie's mother said with a smile. "We'd love to adopt him if everything goes well today." "That's wonderful," Elena replied enthusiastically. "Max has come such a long way. I think he'll be a perfect fit for your family." As more families arrived, each dog showcased its unique personality. Luna was still shy but slowly warmed up to visitors who offered gentle pets and kind words. Oliver remained calm and dignified as families approached him. He seemed to sense that this was his moment to shine. Elena took every opportunity to share the stories of each dog, how they had been rescued from abandonment and neglect, how far they had come since arriving at her clinic, and how much love they had to give. Adopting a dog is not just about finding a companion, she explained during a brief presentation she held midway through the event. It's about making a lifelong commitment to care for them through thick and thin, just like they will be there for you. As she spoke, Elena could see families nodding along thoughtfully. She hoped they were genuinely considering what it meant to welcome a dog into their homes. After her presentation concluded, she opened the floor for questions and encouraged families to spend more time with each dog before making any decisions about adoption. The afternoon flew by in a blur of laughter and joy as families continued interacting with Max, Luna, Oliver, and Pip. Each dog showcased their unique personalities. Max's playful spirit drew laughter while Luna's gentle demeanor melted hearts. Elena watched closely as potential adopters interacted with the dogs, observing how they responded to each other. She knew that finding the right match was crucial. not just for the dogs but also for their new families. As the day progressed, she noticed Thomas, the teenager who had shown interest in Oliver during their previous gathering, approaching her with determination in his eyes. "I really want to adopt Oliver," he said earnestly. Elena smiled at him warmly. "That's wonderful. I believe you two will make an incredible team." They discussed Oliver's needs further, ensuring Thomas understood what it would take to help him adjust to his new home. As evening approached and families began making their final decisions about adoption, Elena felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over her. She had witnessed firsthand how love could transform lives, not just for the dogs but also for those who opened their hearts to them. When it came time for Sophie's family to finalize their adoption of Max, Elena felt tears prick at her eyes, not from sadness but from joy knowing that Max would finally have a loving home where he could thrive. With all 4 dogs finding loving families, Pip would join an active family eager for adventure. Luna was adopted by an older couple who promised her endless cuddles. Oliver would embark on a new journey alongside Thomas, and Max would become part of Sophie's family. The day felt like an overwhelming success. As families filled out paperwork and exchanged contact information with Elena for follow-up visits, she took a moment to step back and observe the scene unfolding before her eyes. Children laughing as they played with puppies, parents discussing adoption options, volunteers sharing stories about their own rescue experiences. In that moment, surrounded by joy and connection within her community, a place once filled with loneliness, Elena understood that this was what it meant to make a difference. Not just saving individual lives but fostering a culture of compassion where animals were valued members of families. As evening fell over Bergdorf once again and stars twinkled brightly above like promises waiting to be fulfilled, Elena reflected on all that had transpired that day. A community united by compassion coming together not just for animals but also for one another, a bond forged through shared love and understanding. With hope lighting her path forward into tomorrow's possibilities, she embraced this journey knowing it would lead not just toward recovery but toward bright new beginnings filled with love for every precious soul deserving care within their community, and the weeks following the adoption event were a whirlwind of activity for Elena Muller. The success of the event had not only found homes for Max, Luna, Oliver, and Pip but had also ignited a passion within her to continue advocating for animal welfare in Bergdorf. The clinic was quieter without the playful barks of the adopted dogs, but Elena felt a renewed sense of purpose as she focused on her mission to educate the community about responsible pet ownership. Elena spent her days treating local pets and working on plans for future workshops and community events. She knew that while she had made a difference for those 4 dogs, many more animals were still in need of help. With every appointment, she encountered families who were eager to learn but lacked the knowledge about proper care for their pets. One sunny morning, as she prepared for her first appointment, her phone buzzed with a message from Franz. "Let's meet at the cafe later. I have some exciting news." Intrigued, Elena quickly finished her morning tasks and headed to the cafe where Franz was waiting. "Hey, what's this exciting news?" Elena asked as she settled into a chair across from him. Franz leaned in, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "I spoke with the local shelter director this morning. They're thrilled about your workshops and want to partner with us for an upcoming adoption drive." Elena's heart raced at the thought. "That's amazing. We could combine education with adoption opportunities. It would be perfect." Franz nodded eagerly. "Exactly. We can set up booths where families can learn about pet care while also meeting dogs available for adoption. It'll create a supportive environment for both the animals and potential adopters." As they brainstormed ideas over coffee, Elena felt a surge of excitement. This was exactly what Bergdorf needed, a way to connect families with animals in need while fostering a culture of responsibility and compassion. Over the next few weeks, they worked diligently to organize the adoption drive. They reached out to local businesses for sponsorships and gathered volunteers from the community to help with logistics. Elena designed flyers that highlighted not only the adoptable pets but also educational resources about responsible pet ownership on the day of the event. A palpable energy filled the air as families gathered at the town square. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, and tables were set up with information about pet care, training tips, and resources for new pet owners. The local shelter brought several dogs looking for homes, each one eager to find a loving family. Elena stood at her booth, talking to families as they arrived. She shared stories about her experiences rescuing dogs and emphasized how important it was to consider all aspects of pet ownership before adopting. "Remember," she said earnestly, "adopting a dog is not just about bringing home a cute puppy, it's about making a commitment to care for them throughout their lives." As families interacted with the dogs available for adoption, Elena watched closely, hoping that connections would blossom. She noticed one family in particular, a couple with 2 children, spending time with a gentle golden retriever named Charlie. "Charlie is such a sweetheart," Elena said as she approached them. "He's been waiting for his forever home for quite some time." The children giggled as Charlie wagged his tail enthusiastically, leaning into their gentle touches. The parents exchanged glances filled with hope. It was clear they were considering bringing Charlie into their family. Throughout the day, Elena facilitated interactions between families and dogs while providing guidance on what to look for in an adoptable pet. She felt fulfilled watching connections form. Each smile and laugh echoed her belief that love could transform lives. As afternoon turned into evening, families began filling out adoption applications. The excitement was palpable. Elena could feel hope radiating through the crowd as they embraced the idea of welcoming new furry friends into their homes. When it came time for the Schmidt family, who had adopted Luna, to finalize their adoption of Charlie, Elena felt tears prick at her eyes again, not from sadness but from joy knowing that another dog would find a loving home. As they completed paperwork and exchanged contact information with Elena for follow-up visits, she took a moment to step back and observe the scene unfolding before her. Children laughing as they played with puppies, parents discussing adoption options, volunteers sharing stories about their own rescue experiences. In that moment, surrounded by joy and connection within her community, a place once filled with loneliness, Ellen understood that this was what it meant to make a difference, not just saving individual lives but fostering a culture of compassion where animals were valued members of families. As evening fell over Bergdorf once again and stars twinkled brightly above like promises waiting to be fulfilled, Elena reflected on all that had transpired that day. A community united by compassion coming together not just for animals but also for one another, a bond forged through shared love and understanding. With hope lighting her path forward into tomorrow's possibilities, she embraced this journey knowing it would lead not just toward recovery but toward bright new beginnings filled with love, for every precious soul deserving care within their community, and beyond. In those quiet moments spent planning future events or enjoying time outdoors with Oliver, the healing hearts of both animals and humans intertwined, creating bonds that would last long after they left her clinic behind. As autumn settled in, the Thompson household buzzed with anticipation. The leaves had turned brilliant shades of red and gold, and with the change of season came a new idea that had been forming in David's mind. He wanted to create an event that would not only celebrate Charlie's progress but also raise awareness about accessibility for children with disabilities. It was time to bring the community together. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, David shared his vision with Charlie. "What do you think about organizing a community event at the park?" he asked, leaning forward in his chair. "We could invite families from your school and the neighborhood to come together for a fun day." "Like a party?" Charlie asked, his eyes lighting up with excitement. "Exactly. We could have games, food, and maybe even a little demonstration of what you've been working on with Bella," David suggested. Charlie's face broke into a wide grin. "And we can have a dog show. Bella could show off her tricks." "That's a fantastic idea," David replied, feeling inspired by his son's enthusiasm. "We can invite everyone to bring their pets and have some fun contests." Over the next few weeks, David worked tirelessly to plan the event. He reached out to local businesses for donations, food, prizes for contests, and supplies for games. He also contacted the community center to reserve a space at the park and spread the word through flyers and social media. As the event day approached, excitement buzzed through Maplewood. Charlie helped with preparations, creating colorful posters that advertised their Pause for Progress event. He felt a sense of purpose as he watched his ideas come to life. On the day of the event, the sun shone brightly in a clear blue sky as families began to arrive at the park. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and the sounds of children playing. Charlie wheeled himself around, proudly showing Bella off to everyone who would listen. "Look at Bella," he exclaimed to another child who approached them. "She helps me every day." Bella basked in the attention, performing tricks that Charlie had taught her, rolling over, playing dead, and even fetching balls thrown by excited kids. The bond between them was evident. Bella seemed to thrive on Charlie's energy and joy. As afternoon turned into evening, it was time for the dog show. Families gathered around a makeshift stage where David stood ready to announce each contestant. "Welcome everyone to our first ever Pause for Progress dog show," he called out enthusiastically. Charlie beamed with pride as he watched Bella take center stage alongside other dogs from the neighborhood. They showcased their talents, jumping through hoops, performing tricks, and even participating in a friendly race across the grass. When it was Bella's turn, Charlie wheeled himself forward confidently. "This is Bella. She can do lots of tricks," he announced proudly. The crowd cheered as Bella performed flawlessly, rolling over on command and fetching a ball tossed by Charlie. The joy radiating from both boy and dog was infectious. Everyone clapped and cheered them on. After several rounds of performances, David gathered everyone together once more for awards. "Thank you all for participating. Every dog here is a winner," he said with enthusiasm. "But we do have some special awards based on today's performances." He handed out ribbons for categories like Best Trick, Most Energetic, and Best Team. When it came time for the final award, Best Bond, David looked at Charlie and Bella with pride shining in his eyes. "And this award goes to Charlie and Bella," he announced, holding up a shiny ribbon adorned with gold stars. Charlie's face lit up with joy as he wheeled forward to accept his award. Bella barked happily beside him as they received cheers from their friends and neighbors. "I couldn't have done it without you, Bella," Charlie exclaimed, hugging her tightly. As evening fell and families began packing up their things after an incredible day filled with laughter and connection, David felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over him. This event had not only raised awareness but also fostered community spirit, a reminder that they were not alone in their journey. As they headed home that night, Charlie clutching his ribbon proudly while Bella trotted beside him, David knew deep down that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. They had created connections that would last beyond this day, a network of support that would help them navigate challenges together moving forward. In that moment, surrounded by love and laughter, David realized how far they had come since adopting Bella. She had transformed not only Charlie's life but also their family dynamic, bringing hope where there had once been uncertainty. And as they settled down together at home that night, Bella curling up next to Charlie while David tucked him into bed, he felt grateful for every step taken along this journey toward healing. A journey where love blossomed anew amid life's challenges, a journey that would continue unfolding before them like an open road filled with possibilities waiting just around every corner. As the leaves continued to fall and the air turned crisp, the Thompson household felt a renewed sense of purpose. The success of the Pause for Progress event had not only brought the community together but had also inspired Charlie to push himself further in his therapy. With Bella by his side, he was more determined than ever to make progress. One chilly Saturday morning, David decided it was time for a new challenge. "How about we try something different today?" he suggested while they were having breakfast. "I've been thinking we could go to the community center for some adaptive sports activities. They have a program for kids with disabilities." Charlie's eyes widened with excitement. "Really? What kind of sports?" "They have wheelchair basketball, adaptive cycling, and even swimming," David explained, watching as Charlie's enthusiasm grew. "I thought it might be fun for you to try something new with Bella cheering you on." "Can Bella come with us?" Charlie asked eagerly. "Of course, she can be your mascot," David replied with a smile. After breakfast, they bundled up and headed out to the community center. As they arrived, Charlie felt a mix of nerves and excitement. The building was buzzing with activity, children were laughing and playing in various areas, and the atmosphere was filled with energy. Once inside, they were greeted by friendly staff who explained the different activities available that day. Charlie's eyes lit up as he saw other kids in wheelchairs playing basketball on one side of the gym. "Can I try that?" he asked, pointing excitedly. "Absolutely," one of the staff members said, guiding them toward the court. "We'll get you set up with a chair and some practice shots." David helped Charlie transfer into an adaptive basketball wheelchair, which was specially designed for mobility and speed. As Charlie adjusted to his new chair, Bella sat beside him, her tail wagging in encouragement. Ready to show them what you've got? David asked, giving Charlie a reassuring smile. With a determined nod, Charlie wheeled himself onto the court where other kids were already playing. He felt a rush of adrenaline as he picked up a basketball and took aim at the hoop. Go for it, David cheered from the sidelines. Charlie took a deep breath and shot the ball toward the hoop. It missed but bounced off the backboard and rolled back to him. Undeterred, he tried again, and this time, it swooshed through the net. I did it, I scored, Charlie shouted in disbelief as laughter and cheers erupted from his new friends on the court. Bella barked happily, joining in on the celebration as she raced around Charlie's wheelchair. Encouraged by his success, Charlie played on, his confidence growing with each shot he made. After an hour of basketball fun, they took a break to hydrate and regroup. Charlie was flushed with excitement. He couldn't believe how much fun he had just experienced. That was amazing, he said breathlessly as he sipped water. Can we do that again? David nodded enthusiastically. Of course, and there's still more to try today. Next, they moved outside to where adaptive bicycles were set up. Staff members helped Charlie transfer onto a specially designed bike that allowed him to pedal using his arms instead of legs. Are you ready? David asked as they adjusted the straps to secure him safely in place. Yes, let's go, Charlie exclaimed, determination shining in his eyes. With Bella trotting alongside him, Charlie began pedaling down a gentle slope. The wind rushed past him as he gained speed. It felt exhilarating to be moving so freely. Laughter bubbled up from deep within him as Bella kept pace beside him, her ears flapping in the breeze. This is so cool, Charlie shouted joyfully as he rode around in circles on the flat path designated for adaptive cycling. After several laps around the track, each one filled with laughter and encouragement, Charlie finally slowed down and came to a stop beside David. I can't believe I did that. It felt like flying. David grinned widely at his son's excitement. You're doing incredible things today. I'm so proud of you. Finally, they made their way to the swimming pool area where adaptive swimming lessons were taking place. Although Charlie had been nervous about trying swimming due to his condition, he felt emboldened by his earlier successes that day. With Bella resting contentedly by their bags on a nearby bench, her presence always providing comfort, Charlie donned his swim gear and stepped into the shallow end of the pool with David by his side. Just take your time, David encouraged as they entered the water together. You've got this. With gentle guidance from an instructor who specialized in adaptive swimming techniques, Charlie began practicing floating and kicking while holding onto a flotation device. At first, he struggled but soon found his rhythm, his laughter echoing through the pool area as he splashed playfully in the water. I'm swimming, Charlie exclaimed joyfully as he floated on his back for the first time, feeling weightless and free. As they wrapped up their day filled with new experiences, David couldn't help but feel grateful for how far they had come since adopting Bella. She had not only transformed Charlie's life but also opened doors to new opportunities for growth and connection within their community. On their way home that evening, Charlie still buzzing with excitement while Bella curled up at his feet, David reflected on how much this journey had changed them all. They had faced challenges together but had also celebrated countless victories along the way, a testament to resilience fueled by love and companionship. As they settled down together at home that night, Charlie clutching his favorite action figure while Bella lay beside him, David knew deep down that this journey was only beginning. There would be more adventures ahead filled with laughter and love waiting just around every corner. And as he turned off the light and closed the door behind him, he felt hopeful about what tomorrow would bring. A new day filled with possibilities waiting just beyond their doorstep, a journey where love blossomed anew amid life's challenges. A journey that would continue unfolding before them like an open road inviting them forward into brighter tomorrows ahead.